Hello and welcome to the New Forest near Southampton in southern England. William the Conqueror created the New Forest as his hunting ground, and 900 years later it is still one of the largest areas of undeveloped land in England, preserved for public enjoyment and recreation and famed for its ponies. We're in Wootton, in the middle of the forest, at a pub called the Rising Sun. In our programme today, we'll be meeting Steve Kroll, the Publican. We'll also be talking to some of the guests in the pub and also to some of the people who work there. Steve, England has a very rich pub tradition. What do you think makes the English pubs so special?
I suppose it's the focal point, it's the social meeting place of an area, especially here, that we are a little remote. And it is a meeting place, a social gathering where people meet their friends.
What part does the pub play in the typical Englishman's life?
Here it's very much a meeting place, a social place. People come, they stop on the way home from work before they go home. It's their social gathering, their social life. And we do entertainment to keep them actually in the community. So yeah, it's their meeting place, their social life.
But that's for this pub specifically. I'm talking about your average English pub. Is it the same in that case?
I think that's generally the same that you have in each area, or in each town. You have pubs that people go to for various reasons, but it is mainly for their social life, to meet people, to mix and then go on from there.
Would you say that the Rising Sun is a drinking man's pub?
Not as much now as maybe it used to be. It's far more of a family pub now, that people will actually bring their wives and their children in. I suppose through relaxing of licensing laws, it's become that family type pub rather than just a drinking man's pub.
What does one drink in a typical English pub?
I think now we're becoming far more discerning with our beers. We went through a stage a few years ago where people went off traditional beers, but now they're very much back in vogue. And actually, one or two of the beers we do, we have the local brewers. I do 5 traditional ales here, and then each month or week, or maybe more often than that, do a guest beer as well, so people can taste the different varieties.
Nowadays, most pubs serve food as well as drink. I asked Steve if the standard of pub food had actually improved in recent years.
Greatly so. The majority of pubs now will sell food, and people are very discerning, and they will only go to what they consider to be quality places. And we've made eating out affordable, whereas before pubs used to, maybe 20 years ago, you'd come in for a cheese roll and a pint of beer, and it was very much male-orientated. It's now that wives and girlfriends are coming out, families are coming out, and they've actually demanded that we cater for them.
Hello.
Hello.
Whereabouts are you sitting?
Around the corner.
Okay, and what would you like?
1 pound, please.
Okay.
1 place and chips.
One place and chips.
And 1 steak and kidney pie.
Steak and kidney pie. That's £13.55, thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, please. What have you ordered?
I've ordered the light platter poached salmon.
What do you think of British pub food?
I enjoy it. It's nice and quick at lunchtime, especially. You get a variety, hot, cold, whatever you like, summer or winter.
Gentlemen, is there anything else I can fetch you?
Oh, well, that's fine.
Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why have you come to the Rising Sun for lunch?
We are here today because we had an exam this morning and we're all training to be nurses, so we came out after the exam.
What have you ordered?
I've ordered a ploughman's and my friends have ordered steak and kidney pie and plaice and chips.
What do you think of English pub food?
I think pub food in England is very good.
What do you like about it?
It's cheaper than a restaurant and you usually get a good choice and it's well cooked.
Who was the ploughman's for?
That was for me.
Okay, and the place was for? There we are. Okay, and yours is the steak and kidney?
That's right.
There we are, ladies. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
The Rising Sun serves typical pub food. Here are some examples. Fish and chips. In this case, the fish is plaice and it comes with peas and some salad. Steak and kidney pie, served here with chips, peas and carrots. Jacket potato, a potato baked in its skin with cheese or other fillings on top and a salad. And ploughman's lunch, traditionally what farm workers ate when they ploughed the fields. Nowadays it's bread and cheese with a pickled onion and other pickles and a little salad. For centuries, pubs have been meeting places for friends, lodging houses for travellers, and sometimes even signposts for visitors. The smallest towns and villages usually have more than one pub, each with its own distinctive sign outside. In fact, it was the Romans who started the tradition of pub signs in Britain, which has continued ever since. This pub was named after someone providing an essential service here in the New Forest. But there are many common pub names which can be found almost anywhere in Britain. And the name of this pub shows that it was also used to collect tolls or taxes from road users. Many pubs only sell beer from the breweries that own them, but a free house can sell beer from any brewery. And almost all pubs are fully licensed. They can sell every kind of alcoholic drink. Let's go back to the Rising Sun. It doesn't look very old, but Steve explained to me that the pub actually had a long and interesting history.
We go back, we're actually mentioned in the Doomsday Book, when this would have been the only building for miles around, and the stagecoaches would pull up here. So it was an old staging post. And then it was done up, I suppose, in Victorian times. And then I did it the way it is now, about 2.5 years ago, but still retaining as many of the old features as we possibly could.
When you say it was mentioned in the Doomsday Book, can you explain a little about that?
That was a register of all buildings at that time. And this was as a stage post. So this would have been one of the main roads from the coast up to London. And I think we had at that time smugglers that we used now because we're right on the coast. And there were stories about gold coins being found in the loft upstairs. True or not, I don't know.
You haven't found any?
I haven't found any.
Do you own this pub, or does it belong to a brewery?
It belongs to the brewery. I rent it. I have a lease, a 20-year lease, and I pay them a rent on it. And by virtue of that, I am tied to buy a lot of my beers from them as well.
But can you also go elsewhere to buy other
I'm allowed
things?
to buy my guest beers at the traditional hours, and I'm allowed to buy them outside of that tie. So customers do have a choice of beer.
So does this make you a landlord or a publican?
I'm a publican. Had I been the landlord, then I would own the property.
What makes your pub so different to other pubs?
We cater for the majority of people. We change, because the New Forest tends to be a tourist area, or is a tourist area in the summer, and even sometimes out of season as well. We cater for both tourists and the locals alike. To try and get people to mix together. The tourists come in because they want to see a typical English pub. The locals, we keep coming in because it is their meeting place. So it's catering for everybody, families included.
So what do you offer to families with children?
We do entertainment for them. Mr. Magic comes and does a magic show one afternoon a week.
No, we haven't. That gives him 4. One eye there. Oh, I think the pen's drying up. And another eye over there. Would you like to keep it then, Sarah? Look, put it in your pocket. I'll make you something else. Now, let's see what else we can do. Pardon? You haven't got a pocket? Oh dear, put it on the table. There's the rabbit you can have as well. And there's the hat, because nobody's going to laugh at you. Okay, now. Oh, he's a rascal. Let's give her a big clap, boys and girls. Well done then, Sarah, well done. All right, now you close your eyes, and you say, I wonder what Charlie's name will be.
I wonder what Charlie's name will be.
Come on, Charlie. Call him out then, so everybody say, Charlie.
Charlie!
Here he is. Give all the girls and boys a big smile, all right? All of them sitting in the front row, big smile.
We also do a good children's menu, so parents can come in and feed the children as well. And outside, there are rides for them, amusement games for them. And then off the garden, we have a big climbing frame, play area, and they've got all the animals as well. And especially for the holiday makers that come from the cities, these children, they've never seen ponies or donkeys or sheep before, so it's all a novelty value as well.
I asked Steve to describe a typical day.
I get up in the morning and feed the animals. That would be my first job. From there, I tend to go in the office and do the accounts, enter the figures up, enter the books up. I think we all live in dread of the VAT man and make sure that our books are up together. And the wages, of course, as well. I count the tills. I then do the money to go to the bank, get change from the bank. I may then go through the menu with the chef and sort out that day's menu.
The traditional Yorkshire puddings and roast potatoes, or we could go with sort of the more simple salad and jacket potatoes.
That sounds good. And to start with,
I thought about a salmon,
sort of maybe smoked salmon, yeah, with
a horseradish or sort of
soup,
yeah.
And then followed something again on the traditional lines.
Apple pie.
Yeah, just with custard.
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
Some of Steve's beer comes from a local brewery. Traditional English beer is produced from malt, which is made from barley. The colour and flavour of the beer is affected by the colour of the malt. The malt is mixed with water to produce a sugar solution, which is boiled with hops. The unwanted grains from the mixture are taken away. The remaining liquid is cooled and yeast is added. It is then fermented to give the right degree of alcohol for each type of beer. Ringwood Brewery has several different kinds of beer for Steve and his partner to choose from.
This is a beer we produced a year ago, the anniversary of the end of the war, and slightly different beer in that it's just uses 2 aroma hops. These are some slightly more milder hops. It's slightly darker in colour than our usual beer as well.
It looks very nice.
It's got a nice head.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes, nice.
Very nice.
It's quite fruity.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this one here is slightly stronger. It's called 49er. It's a beer which has become quite popular, this style of beer. It's what we call a straw-coloured golden beer, and that's at 4.8% ABV alcohol. So it's a bit stronger than the True Glory, which is 4.3.
Pleasant.
Yeah, good. Now, for the finale, we go to Old Thumper, which is our flagship brew. We don't brew nearly as much of this as we do the other beers in the range, but this is quite strong. This was Champion Beer Britain in 1988, and recently won a gold medal in the bottled beer competition. That's quite a lot more alcohol there, it's 5.8%.
We ordered a couple of those to go in with the Ringwood Best.
Excellent.
Would that be okay? And that'll be delivered this week sometime.
Be delighted, yes, no trouble.
Okay. You're happy with that?
I'm happy with this one, yeah.
Traditional English beer or ale is called draft bitter. Bitter because of its taste, and draught because it's drawn or pulled from a barrel. The strength of bitter is determined by the ABV, the percentage of alcohol by volume. The best bitter from Ringwood Brewery is fairly light, at 3.8% ABV. The True Glory, the premium ale brewed especially last year, is stronger, at 4.3% ABV. The 49er has 4.8% ABV. It's called a strong ale. And the Old Thumper with 5.8% is an extra strong ale. In a pub, you can order a pint of bitter or a half a pint. It may come in a glass of this shape or in a tall glass. This is a differently shaped glass with a half of lager, a type of beer which is brewed like most European beers. And here's a glass of stout, a darker, smoother beer brewed in Ireland, which is also popular in British pubs. Is there a danger that as people become more influenced by the wines from Southern Europe and so on, that this culture or this beer tradition is going to disappear?
No, I don't think it ever will. That it is a tradition, the way it's brewed. It's unique to England, and I suppose we've acquired that taste over generations. Youngsters will try and go on to the wines, and people will drink wines with meals, and we do now better selection by the glass than ever before. But in the main, and interestingly, a lot more women are drinking beer now as well.
What is it, in your opinion, that makes English beer so special?
The way they're brewed, more than anything, I suppose, which gives them that unique taste. We haven't got any gas in the traditional ales, which again is unique, that it actually comes in and is pulled through on a hand pump. So there's no gas in the beer. And the other is, I suppose, that it doesn't travel particularly well, that nobody would export traditional beers because they don't travel at all.
Your pub is open 7 days a week. Do you have any spare time to do the things you want to do?
I try and slot my social life in round the pub. Where time permits, I try and get out on the pony and have a little drive on the pony. That's one of my great loves. And talking of the pony, then the farrier may well turn up and have shoes put on the ponies. And then, of course, I suppose the most important, that I've got to entertain the guests when they come in.
Morris dances like these perform at many country pubs. The dances are said to be based on an ancient fertility ritual for men, and in fact it's most unusual to see women and girls taking part. one thing you haven't mentioned. I know that you support the disabled. Can you tell me a little about that?
There are two groups that we support. One is very local, which is just down the road, the Fortune Centre of Riding. And that's therapy for disabled children by riding. And it's a residential school for them, tied up with riding horses. But they do struggle very much for their funds, so we do quite a bit of fundraising for them. The other, which is in New Milton, 2 miles away, is adult mentally handicapped. And of course they tend to get forgotten by a lot of people. Lots of people will support children, but not the adult mentally handicapped. And so we'll do quite a bit for them and actually have them here, and we'll do parties for them. So to try and make their life a little bit more worthwhile.
What was your job before you came here to the Rising Sun?
This is all I have ever done, Helen. Since I was 18, I've been involved in and run pubs. That's all I've ever done.
And has it always been in this area?
No, it hasn't. I moved down here 10 years ago, but I was in London before that. I had 3 pubs in London. But now I've moved down here, I would never move far away from the New Forest. What a wonderful area.
I wanted to find out what the New Forest was like, so Steve took me out in his pony trap. The New Forest is the responsibility of the British Forestry Commission. The Commission has to reconcile commercial interests with the demands of tourism and conservation. The ponies have the right of way on forest roads. Cars have to give way to grazing animals. Millions of visitors, many of them bikers and walkers, come here every year to enjoy a breath of fresh air in this unspoilt rural playground. Although originally set aside as a hunting ground, in the 16th century the New Forest became important as a source of timber. Its oak trees were in great demand for shipbuilding, and one of the important shipbuilding communities was here at Buckler's Hard on the Bewley River. One of the most picturesque places in the area of the New Forest is the ancient port of Lymington. It's a lively yachting and sailing town with old cobbled streets and many fine Georgian and Victorian buildings. Nearby, on the edge of the forest, is Bewley, with its abbey founded by Cistercian monks in the 13th century, and one of the most influential English monasteries until its destruction by King Henry VIII. The grounds of the abbey now house the world-famous National Motor Museum. Lord Montague of Bewley, who lives in the Palace House, has a collection of about 250 cars, some of them very old, like this Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud made in 1908. I had some more questions for Steve about his guests. Are they locals or tourists, and are there any young people?
A great mixture between the lot, I suppose, that right through the year we have the locals. The tourists tend to be in the summer months, and they mix well together. The youngsters, yes, there are quite a lot of young people around here.
Finally, Steve, what's your drink?
I used to drink an awful lot, and now it's wisest for me to stay on coffee.
Does that mean you're teetotal?
Absolutely. I am teetotal, and don't touch the drink at all.
Finally, I had a chat with some of the guests. Are you a local at this pub?
Well, Steve's a friend of mine, that's why I call in. I don't actually go to the pub.
How did you meet Steve?
he had a pony that he wanted broken in, and he asked if I'd do it. I said yes, okay.
So it's your job to break in ponies?
Well, it's not really. I'm an old age pensioner. I'm retired actually, but I only do it just to amuse myself, really.
And I talked to the couple who ran the pub before Steve. I asked them why the Rising Sun was such a popular pub.
Yes, I think over the years, people come to see the person behind the bar who's in charge, and I think Steve has proved that he's a popular chap.
Steve has invited us for an evening of music with the Lansdowne Country Duo at the Rising Sun. But first, let me say goodbye. See you next time.
Island full of rainy skies and gales. I will be aboard that ship tomorrow. Oh, my heart is full of tears at this farewell. Oh, you are beautiful. I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell.
Last orders, gentlemen, please.
And the taste of war I know so very. Even now I see the foreign flag.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you.
The guns on fire as we sail into hell. I have no fear of death that brings no sorrow. Though my heart is full of tears at this farewell. Oh, you are beautiful. I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. Oh, death and darkness gather all about me. My ship be torn apart upon the sea. I will smell again the fragrance of these islands in a heaving wave that brought me with thee. Should I return safe home again to England, I will watch the English mist roll through the dell. Oh, you are beautiful. I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. Oh, you are beautiful. I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word.